Medium rare. Okay, sure.
Medium rare.
Medium.
Yes, same.
Medium.
Exactly what I want, yeah.
So this is your restaurant.
It's not a restaurant, but yes.
But what's the concept? It's like a.
So it's basically a
private-
butchery, and we have a beef distribution company that the beef is stored there, and this is kind of like the byproduct of it. So it's a cooperative where we have 30 farms that we all produce the same way. No additive, no chemicals, no vaccination, like completely, like it's organic basically. Good things locally made that are much better and much more affordable than imported. But because that stamp of importance, that's why when you were talking about the you know, like you have local entrepreneurs, I think that's perfect because you see like it can be done locally. We don't need it.
And
from
that
outside
is
to make
why
it.
one of our staples, one of our visions is to really grow local food entrepreneurs.
Sometimes all they need is a break, right?
Exactly.
And that's what you give them.
We help aspiring food entrepreneurs launch their very first food entrepreneur project. It's also part of our advocacy to help college students, persons who are aspiring to become an entrepreneur.
You're trying to reshape the food industry.
Yes, exactly. Reshaping the landscape of the food industry.
I started out as a TV producer. That was my original business, right? But what happened through the years is that these TV shows that I produce eventually evolved into other businesses. And recently, the past 2 years, we produced this show called The Final Pitch. It's like Shark Tank and The Apprentice combined. Now we're on our 5th season and we've had a good number of startups getting their big break on the show. They've told us that it's really changed their lives. That's what we need to reshape. We need to be able to think that, you know, I'm a Filipino, I'm talented, but I can start my own ventures and eventually succeed. So I think that's the kind of mental adjustment that we have to make.
Yeah, I agree. I think, especially with what I've been involved in, was really kind of changing that understanding, you know, participating in a global narrative, being a part of this global conversation. I like that, and I like that you're pushing that conversation. That's good.
It's like Filipinos presenting in the show in this first season, right?
Filipinos,
Filipino company, Filipino entrepreneurs.
Correct,
It's,
correct.
I'm Filipino. I consider myself Filipino already.
There you go.
I've been here already 10 years, so my wife Filipina, my daughter will be Filipina, so I think
You got the accent down. So.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes it counts as British, but no,
okay.
don't get confused. No, and there's so many talented people, so many talented entrepreneurs. Well, Mike, you're an example. No, I know Mike since 6 years ago. We are looking for an office together.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think what we're trying to do is just, I never kind of grew up thinking that we were sort of a lesser version than ourselves. I never kind of said, hey, we have something to prove. Actually, so a lot of what we do, for example, when we opened our store Commonwealth, I had every intention of building a sneaker store, a multi-brand store, to live among the set of the best stores in the world. I think we need to kind of shift to really say, yeah, we're a part of that. Why should we not be?
Global.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise. I think we need to almost assume this sort of confidence that, yeah, we have something to show. And of course we're talented. Why wouldn't we be? It's not a lack of creativity. It's a lack of education and doing it in the right manner, in the manner of which that can be scaled. Exactly. I think so often I see a lot of entrepreneurs kind of obsess over idea and they get hyper emotional about it, really forgetting that there's still some steps away from success. You know?
Guidance. That's what you need. Like,
Guidance. Correct. Yeah. You gonna reshape our dinner tonight?
Yes.
What are we expecting?
Yeah. I don't know. Should I start cooking?
I think everyone's hungry.
Yeah.
It's dinner time.
I've come to realize it's not one big challenge. It's really a series of challenges every day, and it really becomes how you weather these storms. And I think with maturity, with experience, you've come to realize that these things happen, and it's just really become about how you deal with it and how you prepare yourself, and as best possible. But
And you choose your battles.
I
right?
choose my battles, but there were several challenges, I think. So it was really kind of understanding that shift in the behavior. Honestly, retail's been around for years, but it was really kind of reshaping what that experience could be, right? You know, it's a trait of a good entrepreneur to kind of have the foresight, to take risks, to see things and to be able to connect the dots a little bit ahead than maybe someone else didn't see. So, you know, I consider myself very lucky to have identified that very early on.
Mercato has actually an interesting problem.
Okay.
Okay,
What's
so
that
you know
problem?
how usually restaurants close when they're not doing well. Mercato is the opposite. We close when we're doing too well. The lessor of the place asked us to close. And I asked why. And it was heartbreaking. And I asked why. And they said, because you're too strong. The nearby restaurants are
We're
complaining.
threatened already.
They're complaining that it affected their sales. How are we going to have a paradigm shift? How are we going to reshape this interesting problem that we had? And so RJ and I realized that we should enter into partnerships with our lessors.
So I think when started LM10, that is basically all focusing in agriculture in 2013, my vision was, okay, let's make agriculture better. So my biggest challenge was to try to replicate what we do in Argentina here in the Philippines. So basically in the first year, I lost all my savings. Like I went bankrupt in the first year, and we're supposed to have 1,000 hectares in 20 days. We planned 32.
Okay.
So it was a massive learning lesson, but it was okay. And the lesson there is to understand the country and to understand the culture and to understand the sector before you jump into and trying to replicate what you think is right. And then when we start working in different projects, mostly on animal waste recycling, that's how we started. It went well. We start working, and then when I met Solen, she fell in love with me terribly. I was okay at the very beginning, and then she said, I always tell her I didn't come here for you, but I probably stay for you. But I always thank her for allowing me to be part of it.
It's never really been our intention to set out a business to, not necessarily like,
Disrupt.
I think, yeah, we want to disrupt, but I think to us, it's what we think is just the right way to do it. My businesses come and they stem from a frustration that I have as a customer, as a consumer. I walk into a restaurant and I look around, and it's almost a curse that I observe everything and I say, why isn't this experience this way? Why can't it be so? I'm incredibly a detail-oriented guy, and having the luxury to be able to travel and see other things, I come back and I say, why can't it be that way?
I think the future really is a lot of producing our own content and collaboration, right? That's really the key, by which I guess a lot of the Filipino founders are going to be able to work with our neighbors.
Over the years, we've evolved into a food entrepreneurship incubator. We created this easy franchise app, and then there's also the Mercato Academy.
I think for us, the future has always been very exciting and also incredibly daunting. There's so much possibility. I think for me personally, it's become a matter of being more conscious of what I say yes to, because everything I say yes to, I immediately say no to something else, right? So it's really building this sustainable business that can affect change in our industry and really make the market and our surrounding a lot better. I'm obsessed with creating experiences and creating concepts that immediately enrich the city. So I think things have settled. We know what we do well, and it's become a matter of what's next. So I have a pipeline of concepts that I'm extremely excited to launch. I've wanted to do that since day one. I've wanted to put Manila on the map.
If I think one reshape or one change we have in LM10, we decided to focus in two main aspects. One is green energy, and the other one is recycling and environment. So that way it's very aligned with what we want to do, in the sense of we want to help the environment, because we believe that in 20, 25, 30 years, it's not us the one we're going to suffer about it, but it will be our kids. So having a baby make me rethink all that. So at the end of the day, the whole alignment of the company goes to food self-sufficiency for the country, to be able to produce food affordable for everyone else. You bring like so many different parties into one common objective, making sure that you have a big social impact that at the same time showcase what we can be done here in the Philippines.
So we're all entrepreneurs here, right? So one thing that's really mind-blowing, this is the Samsung Galaxy Fold. We are constantly doing a ton of stuff every day, sometimes multitasking, right? I mean, you can do that with a laptop, right?
Yes.
But have you ever done that with a phone?
No.
Now I think you can. And you know what's really helpful for me as a TV producer? I mean, I'm constantly going around, like right now, because we're going to be doing the final pitch ASEAN. I've been going to some countries here in the region, and literally I would go to a conference and I would have my tablet with me, just really presenting the show to different investors, stakeholders, what have you. And now I don't even have to have that, right? Because usually I would have my phone, but then I would have something else, like a device where I could present, right?
3-in-1.
Now you have such a big, I mean, the real estate in this phone is crazy.
And it's no wonder that it's for a limited edition. It's a limited edition. You can get it through Globe.
Can I access to the apps like this or not?
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Ah, there we go, there we go, there we go.
do,
Okay.
I
yes.
want to say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
and
you
then-
actually can access your apps without opening
And
it.
then when you open it, it has a dual.
I think it just
stream
extends. This you
that-
can have the exact
yes,
same features in the
exact
front.
same when you open
Yeah.
it. So
Fine.
when you
It
close
just
it,
enlarges
it's still
it.
there. And then when you open it, it is exactly the same one.
How's the camera? Okay,
Let's see.
Boom. Aha.
There you go.
Ah.
Whoa, okay, there you go. So it has a
Come
wide
closer.
feature also,
Oh my
right?
God, this is so cool.
Nice. It's very clear.
Nice.
Cheers to reshaping the future.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.